That was Bernie Sanders speaking to supporters at his victory rally there in Concord, New Hampshire. Lynda Tran, Democratic strategist and CBSN political contributor. Let me ask you about how he was able to do this. Where did the core of Bernie Sanders' support lie?
Well, the truth is he apparently got support from across all the various demographic groups. So what's notable tonight, especially if you compare it to the New Hampshire primary back in 2008, is that he had incredible support from women. And in 2008, women were the deciding factor for Hillary Clinton. He also had incredibly strong support among independents, whom, as we've been discussing all night, play a really significant role in this primary in particular.
Steve, let me turn to you, CBS News senior political editor who's in Manchester, New Hampshire for us. He's got a meeting tomorrow with Al Sharpton in Harlem. What's the strategy now going forward for Bernie Sanders?
He needs to broaden his support. I think going into this race, it seemed as if all of his support, or a lot of his support, was from young white voters and people who consider themselves liberal. You look at what happened in New Hampshire. So he trounced Hillary Clinton among young voters. He trounced her among liberal and somewhat liberal voters. You go to South Carolina and you're dealing with a different electorate down there. You're dealing with an electorate in 2008 that identified in the primary there 55% African American, 44% liberal and somewhat liberal, compared to 68% in New Hampshire that identified today as liberal or somewhat liberal. So he needs to broaden his support going to South Carolina, going to the southern states. They're going to be voting on March 1st, on Super Tuesday, and frankly going into Nevada, where there's a larger Hispanic population. So we'll see what he can do here. Now, the assumption is that Hillary Clinton is going to do better in these places. The polling that we've seen out of South Carolina, which was, by the way, done before Iowa and New Hampshire, had her ahead. There was a CBS poll that had her ahead 22 points in South Carolina. Will that lead hold after his victory here in New Hampshire? It seemed like his, at least in New Hampshire, you look at the polling, the exit polling, it was a very, very broad-based win. Granted, New Hampshire is a very, very homogenous state. So we'll see what he can do. But the meeting with Al Sharpton is definitely an effort to try to broaden, at least in terms of diversity, trying to broaden his support.
Rick, you wanted to weigh in?
Yeah, I think one of the things that the Clinton campaign has to understand is they can't explain away this loss, right? They were ahead in this state at one point in time, late in the campaign. They had Governor Hassan support, who's a very popular governor. They had Senator Shaheen's support, very popular senator. They had the establishment of New Hampshire pulling for her. And this wasn't just a loss, this was a devastating loss. I think regardless of the demographics, losing is losing and winning is winning. And she has to be worried that with these establishment figures on her side, she's not getting past the finish line. She just narrowly escaped an embarrassment in Iowa and got spanked in New Hampshire. That's not good for that campaign where it is today.
Let's go ahead and pull up sound. Hillary Clinton speaking to her supporters tonight after calling Bernie Sanders to concede. Let's listen in.